Yes, but it's also a bloke.
It is a bloke, yeah. Big grey bloke
universe.
in this, yeah.
Yes, a man dressed like Sir Killalot from Robot Wars.
Has he got a cape? I feel like he's got a cape.
He's sort of a hoodie cape.
Ooh.
He's funky.
Oh, wow.
He's a funky,
Nice.
evil man.
Fair enough. Like you'd expect of...
Well, the evil ones are always funkier than they've always got fashion.
Jazzier
I mean, just look at
outfits.
Jafar.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Compared to...
Look at that
Although,
hat.
is it wrong that I kind of fancied Aladdin a little bit back in the day?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I was having fully fledged fantasies about it. Like, no, I'm not going to push it that far. But my mind did wonder, why are his trousers so baggy?
Oh. Well, is that the...
What did you say? If it was curved like a...
if it was curved like a scimitar.
What's a scimitar?
A curved sword. Like the sword that the guards use. I wondered if that's what you were wondering.
I don't know how we've gotten onto the subject of
Scimitars.
Aladdin's manhood when we tried talking about the apocalypse of the X-Men universe.
True. Back to that then. All right. I quite like Young Storm. She seems exciting.
Yes.
And I
don't know too much about the X-Men universe. I only ever started
confusing.
Paying attention with First Class, which I thought was very good, and I thought a pleasant halfway house between the grit that was DC's Batman and the carry-on comedy that is the Marvel movies. It sort of sits there in between nicely. I wasn't impressed with the next one at all, but this looks like it's... This looks like a glorified episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Because they're all standing about in a library going, who's this person? Let's learn about this person. I was expecting, was it Giles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learning's fun. Learning's great. Giles has many
absolutely.
books.
I like library scenes.
Good. Well, then you'll love Buffy. There's a lot of them. Until they blow the library up.
I watched
But
Buffy
that's a
up
spoiler.
until the season 3...
You're not even halfway through.
Season 4
Who's
opener.
the baddie in season 4?
No, I've only watched the opener because all she did all episode was walk about her new campus clutching a clipboard or something and feeling sad. Whereas I was told I'd like Buffy the Vampire Slayer because I like Farscape. But by Farscape, things had already been to hell and back. We had been exhausted by trauma and drama, and in Buffy it looked like they were only just getting started, and they weren't even trying to tempt me into watching the rest of the series. They were being lazy with it. There was nothing in that first episode that made me think, well, this is a must-watch show. So I moved on to Teen Wolf, which is basically Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the cool kids.
Is it the 90s again?
What?
I feel like we're talking Farscape, Buffy, and Teen Wolf. Is it?
No, Teen Wolf is a new thing on MTV.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's still
on
going
MTV.
on.
God, that's 90s
Yes,
as well.
it's
I didn't know
true.
MTV was still going.
Well,
I
so
thought
X-Men is pretty 90s.
Well, yes, but X-Men cartoon was very 90s, and that was really good. That was great. I remember they did a really good version of the Phoenix Saga, which the movies didn't. The movie version of that was pants.
Wait,
but no.
What X-Men movie was the Phoenix Saga? I don't know what
that was X3. X2...
nobody likes that one, do they?
Yeah, no. Well, it's
Not
like...
that I've seen it.
No. If a cartoon can do a better version of telling the story than a movie can, then you have problems with your movie, I think.
Well, sometimes movies just aren't the best art form.
Well, this is true.
It's the whole movie versus book idea again.
Except movie versus comic versus cartoon versus book.
Well, yes.
Yeah, all of those things. Anyway, yes.
Jennifer Lawrence is going to show up in.
She is, and it looks like she's had enough of being naked and painted blue. She's fleshy coloured and covered up this time. Which
it looks like she's just wandered off the set of Joy, which we've been watching trailers for.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Joy actually as well.
Yeah, it looks interesting. Well, I mean, we've seen the trailer enough times now to be convinced to go and watch it. Yeah. Every single time we go and watch a movie, it's the first one that pops up.
Apart from the Good Dinosaur, because that was a kids movie. And
yes, that's true.
Yeah, but no, J-Law keeps her clothes on and stays pink as opposed to blue. Good for her. I suppose that's the kind of thing you can ask for when you're a big movie star like she is. Like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. But it's your character. She's blue and no, she's not. She's pink and she's got clothes on. I also,
if it were Farscape, they would get away with that. They believed in continuity and would remain blue throughout.
Well, that's why Zahn had to leave, because the makeup was irritating. She was allergic to it or something. It was making her ill.
If you don't mind me saying, I think that is a little bit of a spoiler
for a show that you and now me and nobody else in the world has ever watched.
I think that's what makes it so exciting, because you literally don't know who's watched Farscape. People keep it secret, like some sort of sexual disease. They keep it to themselves. And then when you find
Great.
out...
So you've given me Farscape as an STD.
No, what I'm saying is that... I don't know where I'm going with that, to be honest, but...
Shocker.
I'm saying that people keep it secret. They for some reason, because they don't know who else has the condition, right? But then when you meet up at some sort of convention, science fiction convention, or sexual health convention,
I don't think that's a thing.
You might sit down in a circle with some other people, and they'll all be like,
Herpes Anonymous.
You have it too.
I don't.
The Farscape thing.
There's no herpes support group. You don't sit down and compare red lumps on your mouth.
I think
God,
I'm doing Farscape a disservice.
I think you're bang on, to be honest. I think it's brilliant. It's perfect. Anyway.
It's nothing like a sexual disease, Farscape. Because there's nothing thrilling or in any way exciting about a sexual disease. How did we get... Yes, Blue. Yes, no, she had to leave because she was getting ill from the makeup.
Yeah.
Which I imagine... on something as large and Hollywood-driven as... X-Men, they can afford slightly better body paint.
Yeah, it's the hypoallergenic version.
Yeah, not the radioactive stuff that Zahn was wearing in Farscape.
Which they found in a river somewhere in Australia.
Yes.
Talking of blue people, there's a brief glimpse of Nightcrawler in the trailer for X-Men.
Who's Nightcrawler?
He's
the one with the nails coming out of him.
That might be Wolverine that you're thinking of.
No. He was. He had his wings open. And all spikes were coming out of him.
Oh, could be. I don't remember that. I remember his face and his tail, as it were. That's all I usually remember about a man, his face and his tail. Anyway, that's a bit much, isn't it? Am I sharing too much? Yeah. We're moving on. But yeah, no, he looked really cute, and I've looked him up, and he's played by Cody Schmidt something or other.
Cody Schmidt?
Hang on. I still got his IMDb page open on my phone, so just...
That's a name you could shout out during, isn't it?
Well,
Schmidt!
Yeah. Cody Schmidt McPhee is his full name. And I've done a bit of a Google, and he's quite handsome. And I think I prefer.
Well, why don't you stick him up on our Twitter?
Well, I will, but
for
I think
everybody to have an ogle at.
I think I prefer him covered in blue, to be honest.
And you should actually also put up a picture of Jennifer Lawrence to please our heterosexual and lesbian listeners. Heterosexual male and
do we have
lady
any heterosexual listeners?
I think we might do, but they
do we have any listeners?
A bit like if you watch Farscape, you wouldn't really say it out loud. You'd keep it to yourself. No.
Be proud that you listen to our show. We're not like Farscape, I promise. Please don't lump us in with Farscape.
Whoever. Yes.
You sound like Shakira now.
Everybody's welcome here on Are You Sitting Comfortably?
Lord.
Now, we were speaking about Jennifer Lawrence. Are you interested to hear that Lionsgate are in talks to make Hunger Games prequels? Now, do you think that's a money-making scheme, or would you be pleased to revisit Pandora? No, that's Avatar.
Pan-Am.
Yes.
Pandora? That's more blue people.
Yes. In fact, we've got quite a few more movies of them coming as well. Less said about that, the better.
Yeah. Well, I rolled my eyes. My first instinct, as usual, is to roll my eyes and kind of go, ugh, whenever I hear about a prequel film. But that said, I think it would be interesting to see... I mean, maybe there's more about this in the books, because I haven't read the Hunger Games books. But it'd be interesting to see the circumstances that led to
the Hunger Games being a thing.
The districts being formed, the Hunger Games being a thing, and how the capital got its power, and all of the lead up to that kind of thing. But then at the same time, I said that about Battlestar Galactica in a kind of, it'd be really interesting to see how the Cylons first were built by man and what happened during the first Cylon War, and then they did that and it was awful. So maybe it's best just left a little nebulous and in my imagination.
Has nobody learned their lesson since the Star Wars prequels? It doesn't seem like it.
It doesn't, does it?
No, I mean, The Hobbit is evidence of that.
Lord.
Now, we're asking the question throughout the show. Who said...
Honey!
Oh.
Honey!
Any ideas?
Honey!
None at all.
Well, if you know, listeners at home, heterosexuals, lesbians, or Farscape fans, you can tweet us at ELR Comfortably.
I don't even have a response to that.
ELR Comfortably on Twitter, or the Facebook page.com/ELR Comfortably. And our website is, of course, elrcomfortably.co.uk. Yes, now we're going to move on to talking about The Good Dinosaur, Pixar's latest. Now, the music isn't done as it was in Inside Out by Michael Giacchino. It's done by Michael Dana and Jeff Danner, who I presume are an item of some variety.
They're lovers. Which is nice. Good for them.
Yes, and they do a nice job. It's quite relaxing stuff, except for when it gets really quite dramatic and exciting. This is a nice mixture, I think. Over the Falls from The Good Dinosaur. Ah, what a good little piece of music. I liked all the strings that were happening in The Good Dinosaur
as they went over the waterfall. There's strings on the way down.
Now, is that not just the tiniest little bit of a spoiler in your view?
Isn't that? Wasn't the track
actually
called...
can't get my horn up.
Well, bless you.
There we are.
You just needed a bit longer. That's all. You just needed a minute to give it a tickle.
Sometimes you do, don't you?
Well, yeah. But isn't the name of the track Over the Falls?
Is that? But did I introduce it as such?
Yes.
Okay, right. Well, never mind then.
So
sometimes soundtrack listings
playlists
are very spoilerific. Now I can't remember what it was just recently, but I actually saw that they changed the name of the last track on one. I will try and remember before the end of the show. But they can get very spoilerific. I mean, for instance, on the Farscape soundtrack, it. No, I won't. I won't get there. But there is a spoiler there. Spoiler.
I remember the same reading books when I was little. Chapter titles are often the same thing, like Trapped. Like Chapter 5, Trapped. Chapter 6, No Escape. Chapter 7, A Saviour. All right, well done, thanks for that. I know they're going to be all right.
There's the same problem with when DVDs, when you put in the chapter titles, but also just the rolling menu in the background. You see things. I mean, whose decision is it to put these things on there? When you've got a TV series, Game of Thrones are very good, actually, avoiding spoilers on the rolling menu, but some aren't. Some are not. Some are worse than others.
Well,
anyway,
you know who you are.
The Good Dinosaur, directed by Peter Son. He worked as an animator on The Incredibles, Brave, and The Iron Giant, which I very much enjoyed. That is an emotional roller coaster.
Sad face, that film.
Yes, very big sad face. But this is his first directorial credit on a feature film. And he also voices Forrest Woodrush.
Who's Forrest Woodrush?
I'm not entirely certain, but let me Google this and we'll find out.
Right, excellent. So this is his first film. What he's done? Do you think? But then we know that this film had a lot of.
Oh,
you're right there.
Yes. Forrest Woodrush is the strange mystical rhino who lives in the bushes and has lots of animals over his antlers. But we'll talk about him in a minute. What were you saying?
Yeah, I can't remember. That his is the name that got credited on this film as the director. But then surely he wasn't the only. He's just kind of the last person to be directing it because it's had so many changes of people throughout, like half the cast. And
I doubt he's willing to take full credit.
Well, no, I don't think he deserves to take. No, I don't think he deserves to take all the blame. It's probably a better way of putting it, since so many other people were involved in messing up this film.
What were these changes about? Was it that everybody saw? I mean, you had John Lithgow, Judy
awesome.
Greer, Bill Hader, Neil Patrick Harris.
All of these people are awesome.
Yes, well, why did they leave? Why did they down tools? What was that about?
Presumably, like they were sold one movie, and then when they got there and the script had started changing, they were like, "Well, no, this isn't what I signed on for. This isn't good anymore." And we ended up with, that thing what we saw the other day.
Well, I mean, Inside Out is going to be
sound very uncomfortable over there.
Inside Out is going to be very difficult to top. At the best of times.
Well,
I don't think necessarily that Pixar even wanted to draw too much attention to The Good Dinosaur themselves. They certainly didn't ram any marketing stuff down my throat.
No.
I barely knew it existed. The only reason I knew it existed was because I'd heard little bits